Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Finchloom STUNT today on May 23rd, 2019. I'm coming to you live from the Finchloom offices in Los Angeles, California. My name is Jim Richardson, and today I'm doing something very special. I'm going to be posting a spreadsheet that contains all of our employees' personal and salary information online. So let's get right to it. Let's talk first about what do you store in Office docs? When you're at work, you create Word, PowerPoint, Excel files. What are you putting in those documents? Like me, it might be salary information. You might have personal information about your employees, social security numbers, birth dates, addresses, and so forth. Or maybe your company keeps proprietary information in these files, secret sauce, recipes, or even the intellectual property that you've worked so hard to create and own. There might be trade secrets or even internal memos that are meant to be private and kept within your organization. And some of the ways that used to be, like I say old ways, but they're still currently being done this way. But the ways that companies protect their data, they keep it on a file server. That way, it's not distributed on all the desktops. You can protect it on the server. But what if it leaves the server? Then what? So then you've created firewalls around your organization where you can stop incoming traffic that's undesirable and maybe even block things from going out. Or maybe you can use simple password protection that's built into Office. But as you may have heard or tried, there's simple tools out on the internet that you can download and basically crack those passwords. Or what some people like to do is I call security through obscurity, and that's keep your files on your desktop. And if you have your files with you, then surely no one will ever get them. So let's talk about how much control you actually have in your organization. So as we go through these different layers of where things are stored, like on premises, you have some control. You can put perimeter protection in place. You can put file structures with permissions and folders and keep things secure that way. But then what about as your users start going out into the mobile environment and they're carrying mobile devices or laptops out of the building, and now they're in a managed mobile environment. So the documents can leave the office, but now they're still on managed devices. And a lot of companies still haven't gotten that far yet. And then the third type is where you get into hybrid data. And this is more becoming the new normal, where documents are going wherever. Employees might take them and put them on their Dropbox or on their personal iCloud, and you have no way to protect against that as an IT organization or as a company. So let's talk about some ways that data gets out of the organization. Number one, and you probably heard a lot about this, is hacking. What about the whole thing of hacking into the government's email servers and stealing emails? Or the Sony hack, where people could get in and read email and look at attachments, and they would see things like salary information or even secret memos that were maybe not very glowing or shining about certain people. And those documents ended up getting into the press. So think about that. If you had documents that were hacked from your environment, what would the damage be if that information made it to the press? Secondly, you might have a rogue administrator in your organization. And maybe like John Snowden, that contractor who worked for the government, he had access to critical and confidential documents and could easily just copy them to a thumb drive and walk out with them. So if you have a rogue admin in your environment, think of how easy it is for them to just put a thumb drive in and take data. Or same thing with a disgruntled employee. Maybe somebody wants to publish all of your trade secrets or recipes on the internet, and they want to kind of embarrass the company. So that's another way. Then there's the unaware employee, where the employee is just doing tasks without really thinking about the types of data. Maybe your organization hasn't talked to them about how data is classified and how labels might be used to say perhaps this type of document is business confidential and can't be shared with anyone, whereas this is a public document. So a lot of unaware employees might unwittingly share or expose company data because they just don't know. Then there's the lost devices. Maybe I leave my laptop at the airport, and that's where I had stored all my important data on the C drive because I thought nobody could get to it because it's on my device. But now that the device is lost, guess what? People could probably get to that data. So that's another way. And then the last way is what we call shadow IT, which is where users go around you. They go around the protections that IT has put in place, and they start using other tools that are more convenient for them, but they lack the security and the control that your organization might need to keep data loss from happening. So these are some of the common things that we are actively seeing all the time, and these are problems that companies have. So the way that we solve this is security in depth, and there's a lot of different programs, applications, and training programs to get into that. But today I want to talk about one specific technology, and that's called Azure Information Protection. And this is an add-on product that's incorporated in some of the Office 365 suites. Enterprise Mobility and Security, for example, is a suite that includes Azure Information Protection, or you can buy it a la carte. And the way it works is you can protect your documents and even your emails by encrypting the document and the email. It uses cloud-based protection, so wherever the file goes, it's protected. And whoever goes to open the file must have an internet connection so that they can connect to that cloud-based service in Azure and check the permission. And if they're allowed, then it opens the document. If they're not, it blocks them. And as the author of the document, I can track and see who's attempted to open my document. I can see if there's any unauthorized attempts and also legitimate attempts to open my document. And if I ever change my mind, I can revoke those permissions at any time. So there could be a document out in the wild that has a permission for somebody and they can open it freely. But then if I hit revoke, that copy of that file and any other copies of that file would then no longer be accessible to that user. And I'm here to say that this is a very easy solution for users to adopt. There's a button in the Office suite when you install the Azure Information Protection client, and it makes it real simple for an end user to protect their document and track and revoke the rights. So with that, I wanted to just give you a couple of tips about how you can begin this journey, and then we'll get into our demo where I actually publish our document. So the first thing, if you want to get started in your organization, is you have to start looking at classifying your data and then letting people know how they've been classified. Do you want to label documents as secret or confidential? And what does that mean? That they can't be shared outside the company, or they can only be shared with select groups in the organization? Then you can have a label that's called internal only. So everyone in the company can log in and see the document, but if it goes outside the company, nobody else can. And then, of course, there's non-restricted documents like public documents and templates and other things that don't contain sensitive data. So if people can think about the classifications of the data, they can very easily set those policies on the documents and protect them. So with that, I'd like to show you this Finchloom STUNT, and I'm going to post all of our employees' personal and salary information online. So for this, I took an Excel spreadsheet. I dumped out of our payroll system all the employees, home addresses, social security numbers, salaries, everything you can think of that's really considered private and confidential. And I've applied Azure Information Protection to that document, and I've only given rights to myself as the author and one other account that I'm using for test purposes. And I gave that account read-only access. And then we're going to go in and track the different attempts. So let me switch over here to my demo machine, and let me show you here how this works. All right, so here we go. First, I've got the Excel spreadsheet, and I've put all of the employee information in here. I scrunched some of these down so you can't view and cheat and see the information. I want you to try and open the file to see it. The other thing I wanted to point out is that our system uses DLP, data loss prevention, and it detected that we've got a policy violation because we're storing social security numbers here. So that's another way to protect the information that's contained in a document. But what I wanted to show you here is the easy button, the protect button. And if I click on that button, I can go down and apply custom permissions to the file. And I'm only giving view-only rights to this one individual. This is my test account. So once I do that, I can apply those permissions, and I can see that this is now a restricted document. So I can now save this and distribute it to that recipient. But also at the same time, I've also posted this file on our website at finchloom.com. So let me switch over here to this virtual machine I've got running, where you can see the website for finchloom.com. And right here on the home page is the link to download the file. So go ahead and do that yourself. I encourage you to try this out so you can see what the experience is like. And here comes the file download. And if I click on it and try to open it, I'm using my browser, so it's trying to use Excel Online, but the online version of Excel doesn't have the capability to decrypt. So it's telling me, you can't do that. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to download the file. I'll click the download button, and then that will appear down here in my downloads area. And if I try to open the file, remember I'm now signing in as a stranger. This gives me permission denied, so I'm unable to see the file. And just for fun, let's try to add my account to the document, and I'll sign in with my fake account, and let's see what happens. So again, I'm denied. I don't have permission to the document. So I'm hitting a dead end here. I can't get into that document. Now, let me switch back over to the other screen where I've sent the document to a legitimate recipient. So here's the email that was sent to me. Again, I can't open it in a browser because the browser doesn't support decryption. So I just download the file. And once I have the file downloaded, I can go open that file. And I sign in with my account that's been given authorization to the file. And once I sign in and connect, now I have that view-only access that I was given by the author. And if I try to write into the document, I can't. I can only view it. So that means that the protection I put is working properly. So now I can close out of that document. And even if this person forwards this file to another person, it doesn't matter. They won't be able to open it. Only the intended recipient can open it. And then the last thing I wanted to show you is that under the Protect button, you have the ability to track and revoke who has accessed the file. So if you select that, it opens in a browser, and then you can look at a glance to see the users who have successfully opened the file, along with the users who were denied access to the file. And it shows the login name and email address that was tried to log in, and the date and time. And then if you look at the map, it shows you on the globe where these attempts were coming from. So if you do have an issue where files are leaving your company, or if you've been hacked, you can track the access requests to the file as long as you've applied protection to the document beforehand. Thank you for joining us today for our Finchloom stunt, where we posted employees' personal and salary information online. That file still exists on our homepage at finchloom.com, so you can try to download and open the file yourself. And in the meantime, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can Google us, YouTube Finchloom, or look us up on LinkedIn, Finchloom, and subscribe to us so you get updates about our future stunts and other marketing events that we're going to be doing. So again, thank you for joining us. My name is Jim Richardson, founder and CEO of Finchloom. Have a great day.